little duckling swarm. Okay, so if we think about our all our moon shapes, so our 5 meter quarter moon, our 10 meter half moon, and our 20 meter full moon, what you're doing is you're just cutting a regular standard size circle in half, and you're basically writing a giant curl over. That's what a moon shape is. You're taking the curl over shape and just blowing it up to a meter shape. So with our 5 meter quarter moon, we're just taking that 5 meter circle and we're chopping it in half. So if we look at the diagram that I sent in the call thread there, um, the top of the shape is here. This is the apex of your 5 meter quarter moon, but the center of it or the origin of it is over X here. So when you're riding, if you were to ride a 5 meter circle, you have 4 points that you need to traverse through to make that circle shape. But when you cut that in half and you turn it into a quarter moon, you're just riding through 3 points. But the same things apply in terms of what you're aiming for. You're wanting to ride nicely through the center of your dots, and then you're trying to make a nice curved, beautiful, bootylicious line in between your dots. We want to avoid doing straight lines because that instead creates like a diamond or a square or a squiggle. So we're trying to do those nice, beautiful, curved shapes. Alrighty. Okay, so just for the fun of it, let's all go through the shape together. So if let's have a reality. Do you want to come over here, por favor, be our line lead? All right, reality is going to lead us. So if you guys want to just line up behind Heather Sleepy Sparrow here, and we'll just all ride the shape together just to get a feel for it, especially if this is our first time encountering quarter moons. I'll leave my pony as the center of the shape. And then generally too, when you're riding moon shapes, usually you will enter them straight on like this, and then you'll exit straight, like riding a curl over, but you can also enter them from the side. So if you wanted to, you could enter this shape from this direction and kind of ride it like, I guess, a little mini rainbow, I guess, is what it would look like in this case. A little mini rainbow around X. But today we're going to do mostly going straight through. Alrighty, okay, let's do, I know with the new screen delay update, everybody's club and team kind of has custom gaps set. So let's just we'll do NTT. And it won't let me say NTT, of course. Nose to tail gaps. So just your nose touching the tail of the pony in front of you, and reality is going to lead us through our little 5-meter quarter moon. I'll be the top of I'll be the apex here. Alrighty, and you can just go straight through at the end there, reality towards E wall. Let's trot into NTT, and then we'll do our little 5-meter quarter moon around X here, going to the left. Let's trot into NTT. Pre. Go. Beautiful. Should we focus on that nice, beautiful curve going through? Very nice. And then you can just go left at wall there, reality, and reset us where we started from. Beautiful. Very nice. Okay. Well, that's our basic. The first moon shape that you generally learn is that 5-meter quarter moon. Right. We could just halt behind reality there. I think some of you might have each other ignored because we have some clumping. Lova, Firecloud, and Anna Shyhaven. I think you guys, one of you might have the other ignored. And so maybe just check your ignore list. One of you may have the other ignored. You guys are on top of each other. Have they merged? Oh. Okay, thank you for doing that, Anna. All right, beautiful. Okay, so no, that's totally what happens sometimes. Like maybe you're practicing with your team or some friends and you need to ignore a bunch of poogies, and then you forget that you had a bunch of people ignored and you don't clear your ignore list. I have done that before. Totally normal. Okay, so that's just our basic 5-meter moon. Now let's talk about different strategies for knowing where the dots are with your moon shape. So if we go back here to our 5-meter moon around X, what I can do is I can go, okay, I know that a 5-meter moon, all my points or the 3 dots that I need to ride through are one dot away from my origin or the center of my shape. So I've sent a new diagram here that says the plus sign method. So what I can do is from the center of my shape, I can go, okay, I just need to count out one dot on three sides. And then those are the three dots that I need to write through. So that's one way that you can do this. And you can also do this when you're writing circles away from X as well. You can use the plus sign method. And then the other method is you can draw a little triangle. So this is where, if you know where your starting point is, so I know I'm entering my moon, my 5-meter quarter moon from here, and I know that my 5-meter moons, all the three dots are one dot away from the center of my shape. So if I want to find my next dot, I can just draw a triangle. So in this case, I know that my shape is going to the left or towards C. So my next dot is going to be one up to the left diagonally. So I draw the first little side of my triangle here. This is the first dot I need to go through. And then to complete the shape, now I need to go one dot down into the left, or to the right, I guess. And then this is the third dot here. So if you're ever like not completely sure, I know where the center of my shape is, but I'm not really sure where my three dots that I need to write through are, you can think of that plus sign method or that triangle method. Alrighty. So that's two options. I would say pick the one that makes the most sense to your brain and go with it. All right, so now we're going to take that idea and we're going to look at what happens when you move your X or your origin away from the center of the arena. So let's start with the one I have labeled Y on the diagram here. And I'll put my pony in the center. So this is the this one might be fine. Okay. Okay, beautiful. All right, so if I was to enter the shape from where my character is and I want to go right around my pony, what would my three dots be? You guys can come over here and just ride the shape. This is like a thinking exercise right now that we're doing. You can all just come clump if you like. We don't need to be in a line. We're doing theory right now. So if my pony is Y on that diagram or the center of this 5-meter quarter moon, and you guys are entering it from where my character is, and you need to go right around my pony, what will your three dots be? You guys can just ride through. Yeah, exactly. Yes, yes, yes. Yep, 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 exactly. Beautiful. Okay, all right, let's do another one. Now, if we were to do this one here between M and R, if the center of the quarter moon is here, and then we're entering the shape, we're starting it here and we want to go left, what would that look like? So you guys can use that triangle or the plus sign, calculate your dots. It's kind of easy though, because you're just one away from my pony. Yeah, exactly. So all your dots are going to be one away from my pony. Yeah. Make sure you're making that nice curve shape, connecting the dots. There are beautiful, bootylicious Dr. Miami curves. Yeah, okay, and you guys are just going around a circle. That's perfect. You can also use this method for writing 5-meter circles anywhere you want. All right, let's keep going. Let's do B. Okay, so this is the center, and I'm starting it from here. Nope, that's incorrect. Quarter line. Ah, like this. Okay, I'm starting the 5-meter moon shape from here. And I'm going left around the pony. Yeah, exactly. Yes. Beautiful. Yep. It's making a nice little circle. Very nice. Okay. And last one, let's do the one around Z. So that's 15-meter chord line in front of P. Right. And then we're starting it from the A line here, facing C. What would this quarter moon look like if we're going left again? Oh, sneaky, thanks at the trot. Yeah, that's something we do in Crystal Parts. You guys do not have to sit it if you don't want it, but feel free to sit the trot if you like. All right, beautiful. Yes, very nice. All right, yay. Okay, so that's our 5-meter moons. And then this is how we've moved it to 4 spots around the arena. So you don't have to stay at X. once you understand how the shape works, how to calculate where your dots are, you can put it anywhere you like. You could even, here, I'll go to the stream here. You could even, if you guys can see my pointer, you could do 5-meter shapes all the way down. So for example, you could start here at A dot and go whoop, just do like a snake all the way down the arena like this, if you wanted, for example. So sky's the limit. Once you understand how the quarter moon shape works, you can do whatever you like with it. The world is your oyster. All right, let's keep going then with 10 meter. 10 meter, 10 meter. So let's go back to X here for the beginning. So if my pony is the start of the shape and I'm starting it here, where do we think the top of the shape is? So the apex or the center of that 10-meter moon. Yes, so it will be your 10-meter point basically on B Bravo. Yeah, and you would go straight through. Yes, exactly. Beautiful. So you guys are getting it. You're basically anytime the size of the moon goes up, you're just making it bigger. And then again, we have our, I'll send the triangle and the plus shape things for the 10 meter. Same principle. You can, so our 10 meter, as we know, wherever the center of your shape is, you will count 2 dots out on 3 sides to know where your 10 meter half moon dots are. Or you can do the triangle method. So say, for example, I'm entering the shape where I am currently, where my character is. I can look diagonally left, and then I know, okay, I count 2 dots up and to the left. That is the apex of my moon. And then now I need to keep going and complete it. So then I would count 2 dots down and to the right. And then that's the final dot of my 10 meter. Alrighty. Okay, beautiful. Question. Yes, what is your question? If SSO chat is being a bookie, you could send it in the call chat. Also, if I'm going too fast, let me know. I can re-explain stuff. Because there's some fun shapes I want us to do later. Yes, my horse is here. Yes, so it's a similar principle to a 10-meter circle. So a 10-meter circle, these are our 10-meter dots. They're 2 dots away from X on all sides. So when we're writing a 10-meter half moon, you're just eliminating 1 dot and you're connecting 3 of them. So if my horse is X or the center of your 10-meter half moon, on 3 sides, you're going to count 2 dots away for your 3 points of your 10-meter moon, or you can use that triangle as well. So currently here, my pony is at X. I'm 2 dots away from X on my pony's right. That's my first dot. Then for my pony, I count 2 up towards B Bravo. That's my second dot. And then for my pony, I count 2 to the left towards C. That's my third one. Does that make sense? Yep, no worries. Thank you for asking your question. Beautiful. Okay. Alrighty. Do we have any other questions about our 10-meter half moon? If you don't have a question, come pile on X with me. If you have a question, let me know, and then we'll look at 20-meter half moons, and then we're going to do some fun shapes. No questions? All right, beautiful. Okay, let's keep on going with the 20-meter. Or no, sorry, we have an activity first. Felix, getting ahead of yourself. Okay, I'm setting another diagram in here. I have not drawn lines for you guys. So what you guys are going to do is you're going to pick an origin point, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N. You're going to pick one, and then you're going to do a 10-meter half moon around that point. So we can have someone's going to start to my right here, to the right of my pony. They're going to ride around A dot. Sorry, A dot would be here on the quarter line. They'll start on E Edward Wall. Scooch one over. Because you're riding a 10-meter half moon, so you need to be 2 dots away from the center. Here, beautiful. And then I would need someone next to H dot. They're going to ride around B. We can come here. Where I'm spinning. I think you want to come here. This is going to be you. Pull. All right. And then I'm going to have somebody here in front of S. Yep, very nice. Yeah, and then beautiful partial. You can take that one. And then somebody here just above E. Reality, if you want to come be this moon, or somebody else is coming, somebody's running. Right, beautiful. Yeah, and then reality is in front of B. And then we need somebody in front of K. Here. Beautiful. All right, and then we can have, yeah, 4 Pookies on the other side. I run on my little legs. All right. We can have someone here in the corner. You're going to be using N as your origin on the diagram, or as the center of your 10-meter half man. And then, yeah, someone in front of P. Yeah, that works. And then we have someone in front of R and M. Okay, beautiful. Okay, alrighty. So now this is, let me come find you. Yes, no, yeah, you're good. Yep. Yep. So this is just a test. If you guys understood what we just talked about with the 10-meter half moon. No worries if you get confused, I can come help. So you're going to look at the diagram. So where you are on E echo or B Bravo wall, that is the starting point of your 10-meter half moon, and all your 10-meter half moons are going to go inwards towards the center line. Now, if my Andalusian is here, then I'm going to exit on the center line because the full width of the arena is 40 meters. Yep. And a 10-meter half moon is 20 meters wide because it's 2 dots on either side. 10 plus 10 is 20. So, for example, our Pookie here in the corner is going to ride a 10-meter half moon starting on E echo wall. The top of the shape is going to be 2 dots away from my Andalusian, and then they'll exit on the center line, heading in the opposite direction from where they started, because you're basically riding a giant curl over. But your exit point is in line from your starting point. So if you start here on the wall, you should end on the wall. If you start here on H line, you'll end on the center line in line with H. All right. Again, no worries if we get a little confused. So what I would recommend is what you can do is, if you find that helpful, you can leave your pony at your starting spot. So you have that as a reference. And then you can you can walk the shape on your little leggies. So for example, if I was doing a 10-meter half moon here, my pony is my starting spot. I'm going to use the triangle method here. I'm going to count up 2 to the left. This is the top of my shape. And then I'm going to count down 2 to the right. So I would exit my 10-meter half moon here on the center line, heading towards C now in the opposite direction because I basically rode a giant curl over, and I'm across from where my pony is. All right. Okay. So you guys can go ahead and run on your little leggies if you like, or if you feel comfortable, you can go ahead and ride the shape. And then if you have a question, let me know and I will come help out if you need some cones or some guidance on where you need to be going. Okay. Keep track of where you guys are. Shy, were you over here by K? Is your pony? Okay, so yeah, so your pony is your starting spot. The center of your 10-meter half moon is G on the diagram. So from your pony, what you can do is you can count 2 into G and then 2 up. So this is the top of your moon here on the wall in the quarter line. And then from here, You count out 2 more. So you're going to exit the shape here on the center line across from where your pony currently is. Or you can use the triangle method. So from your pony, you count 2 up to the left, and then 2 down to the right. Does that make sense? Do you want to try riding it on your horse? Okay, so if we think about the shape of a 10-meter half moon, so if we were doing a 10-meter circle around my horse, I would want to count 2 dots away from my horse on all sides. So starting, like say this is where we entered the circle, you would go around 2 up from my horse. That's your first dot. Then 2 out this way. This is your second dot on the center line. 2 out at the bottom. And then you would come back to your horse. So that would be doing a 10-meter circle around my horse. But since we're riding a 10-meter half moon, we're cutting this in half. So you're not taking the dot that's behind my pony. You're taking the one where your horse currently is in front of my pony. And then your final dot is to the left of my pony on the center line. So you're riding a giant curl over, basically. That's what the shape is. Does that make more sense? Do you want to try it? Do you want to try it on your pony? And I can be cones for you. You could also do it the opposite way if you wanted. You could go the other way. Totally fine. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll leave my pony. My pony is going to be at the top of the moon. So from where you currently are in front of K, you're going to ride through my pony, trying to make a nice curved shape from K to where my pony is. And then you'll keep going, and then you'll trample my character on the center line, and then you'll just continue straight towards C, since we're only riding half the shape. So you can go whenever you like. You can trample, that's totally fine. That's the point of a cone, is to be trampled in this case. Yeah, if you want to reset at K, so I saw that you came through this dot instead. So this is not a point for your half moon. You want to come through me. Because if you go through this dot, yeah. So you want to go all the way through. All the dots are 2 dots away diagonally from each other. Here's another way to think of it with the triangle method. To make the shape even and nice and circular and round and bootylicious. Yes, exactly. And you'll trample my character. Yeah, there we go. Very nice. Beautiful. And then you would, you're continuing to do the 10-meter shape, which is good. If you were doing a true 10-meter half moon, you would just continue straight in this case, since you cut that in half. All right, very nice. You can keep practicing if you like. Does anybody else need help with their bienvenue? Does anybody else need help with their 10-meter half moon? How we feeling? How we doing? Okay. If you don't have a question and you want to keep going to the 20-meter full moon, you can come pal with me on X. If you need help with your shape, let me know and I'll come help you. It is kind of weird thinking about these shapes away from X, so totally normal if we're not comfortable with it yet. Kind of have to like, it's like that galaxy brain meme. You start with the concept of the meter system, and then the next level is circles, and then the next level is moon shapes, and then the next level is moon shapes away from X, and then the ultimate galaxy brain is, well, next is your quarter half-eighths, your half-eighths, your eclipses, and then it's turning those things into fishes and ribbons and keyholes. I think that's the ultimate galaxy brain version. Okay. So we have done our 10-meter half moons. Beautiful. Let me just move the mouse on my alt so it doesn't log out, because that happens sometimes. Okay. Here we go. Let's look at our 20-meter full moons. So, like the name implies, a 20-meter full moon is just half of a 20-meter circle. So similar as to what we did earlier, if my pony, oh, I can't really tell if my pony is on X or not. Well, where you guys are all piled. So I need to go all the way out 4 dots away from X. And a quick way to remember this too is if you are riding around X, when you need to hit your 20-meter dots on the center line, they are in between the wall letters. So I can think of it, this is my highway lane. I'm hitting the dot between P and F. All right. And then from here, this is also kind of nice with your 20-meter shapes. Since they're so large, sometimes it's paradoxically easier to know where your points are. So my next one is going to be 4 dots up and to the left if I'm using the triangle method. Dot just in front of B. So this is kind of nice. This is an easy reference point to follow. And then I'm going to go down 4 into the right diagonally. And again, I'm looking for that highway, my lane between S and H. This would be my third 20-meter dot. Here. So let me just send the plus sign and the triangles for this. I see you guys writing it. That's beautiful. Okay. If you are Gucci with the 20-meter, you can come back to X again. And now we're going to move X around like we did with the 10-meter. If you need help with the 20-meter about where you're supposed to go, let me know and I can explain it. If you're ready to keep going with moving X, you can come stand on X with me. You got a question? Let me know. Let me know. Let me know. Let Shy finish writing out one more time. Yep, exactly. All right, beautiful. Okay, for the 20-meter of moving our origin or X around, I've made it a bit different from the 10. So with the 10, we were all starting on B Bravo or E Echo Wall, but here instead, your shape is going to start along A or C. Or if you want an extra challenge, you can take the N, M, L, or K origins. So up to you. So what we can do is we can have one Pookie here. If they start here, they're going to be A origin. A is going to be their center of their shape. Let's see, taking this one. If you're here, B is going to be the center of your 20-meter. Full moon. Right, and then we'll have a C Pookie down here, and then a D Pookie, and then our E Pookie will be in the corner. One for D here. Gyrus, hopefully I'm saying that correctly. All right, beautiful. And then on the other side, same thing. We can have someone, if you are writing the shape around F, you'll start in the corner here completely. And then this spot is for G. And then H on the quarter line, I on our Y tier, and then J on our center line. So you guys don't have to be like right next to each other if you don't want to. And then if you would like an extra challenge, you can attempt to do the N, M, L, or K origin, and Parsh is going to try that. Okay, beautiful. Riali, are you creating your own starting spot here? Or do you want to ride the M origin, or the K origin, or the L origin? L, okay. So you will start, yep, on the quarter line, but from here. You're slightly offset from the wall. Okay, beautiful. And then Cricket, I don't know if mobile is being a bookie to you. Do you want to try riding a 20-meter? Yeah, no worries. I know mobile can sometimes be difficult to work with. You're on X Games mode right now with mobile. Okay, yeah, no worries. Okay, all right. So now we are writing our 20-meter full moon shapes. So for example, I'm gonna take Sneaky here. Sneaky is riding around origin A. So the center of theirs is here at the 15-meter in line with R. And there's that little blue arrow in the corner. So Sneaky's moon shape is going to go towards B Bravo. So for example, Sneaky is starting here in front of C, facing B Bravo. And then from here, you can use the triangle method. So this is kind of nice because Sneaky's going to go all the way up to R as the top of their full moon. And then we need to go now four dots out away from my pony on the other side. So you'll go down 4. So the exit will be, yeah, 5 meter A center line, just past the midline here. All right. So feel free to use the plus sign or the triangle method, whatever you like best. And then just note too that because our 20-meter moons are so large, if you're starting here on C, you're going to end up on the far side of the midline, closer to A. And same thing for our Pookies that start on A, because that 20-meter shape is so big, you guys will exit on the far side of the midline, closer to C. And then for Reality and Parge, since you guys are starting 1 dot away from the wall, you guys are going to exit over 2 here. All right. Okay, so you guys can go ahead and try writing those shapes. If you need help, let me know. You can start by leaving your horse like you did previously and calculating that plus sign or that triangle. Or if you're confident, you can just go ahead and write it straight away. If you need help with where your dots are supposed to be, just let me know and I can come traffic cone for you. And you might cross with other riders. This is what's kind of fun too when we have shapes all over the arena. You have this kind of like interleaving or interlocking happen. Or maybe let's do this in groups so I can watch you all. Okay, so if you're starting on C, let's have our Pookies who are starting on C come back to A, B, C, D, E, your starting spots on C, and I'll watch you all make sure you guys are writing your dots correctly because this is a bigger one. It's kind of confusing. Okay, so you guys are all starting from C wall. The center of your 20-meter full moon is going to be in line with R. So the top of Sneaky's is going to be in front of R. And then our next Pookie, that's Shy. You're just going to be before R. And then so on and so forth. All right. And then because from R, we now need to go 4 dots more towards A, you guys are going to exit your 20-meter full moons on this line, our 5-meter line on the A side of the arena. Alrighty. Okay, and I can be dots. Okay, so Cora, I will be dots for you. So your origin is E. Oh, so the top of yours is kind of nice. You're going up to the center line. You'll ride through my horse, and then you will need to exit. 1 second, I'm not in line with R. Felix, you're fired. I'm gonna go here through my pony, and then you will exit past the midline, closer to A. All right. Okay. So I'm gonna have you guys go on go just so I can watch all of you at the same time, and then I'll come and do the other groups. Okay. So if you're writing from C wall, you guys are A, B, C, D, or E origins. I'm just gonna have you guys trot the shapes, and I'm gonna make sure you guys are going through your points. So this is the group starting on C. Let's trot, set, pre, go. And then Cora has my horse and my character as points for their 20-meter full moon. Yeah, good. Yes, good. And then you'll exit straight towards E echo at the end since we're riding a giant curl over. Yeah, very nice. Beautiful. Okay, we can reset. Let's do that one more time. You guys all did a good job. Shy, just make sure that as you get to in front of where I think that's Vivian in the pink with a little cat. You're going straight towards my character. Since we're riding a giant curl over, basically, you would not continue on the diagonal towards K corner. If that makes sense. Alrighty, let's go one more time. I'll have you guys canter this time. A little bit of speed. All right, so C group, let's canter and do our 20-meter full moons to the right. Great. Go. Good. Yes. Good. And then just make sure that as you're getting to your final point, you're exiting towards E echo, straight down towards the wall, basically. Yeah, good. Yes. Beautiful. Okay. Nice. All right. Let's do A group now. C group, if you guys want to keep on doing your shapes, feel free. And then again, as you get more practice, you get better at riding those beautiful bootylicious curves, making them nice and curvy. All right. Would anyone on A like cones? Right. If you're on the A side of the arena, you're doing F, G, H, I, or J, and you're ready to try your shape, you can go ahead and go to Global Store. If you have a question, let me know. If you want a cone, let me know. All right, beautiful. You guys can come out. And you can go ahead and ride your shapes. Let's do the trot first. All right, let's trot set for A group. Great. Go. Good. Yes. Yeah. Good curves. Nicely done. And then you're going to exit towards E echo at the end. Good. Yes. Okay, let's reset one more time. For our Pookie who starts in the corner. Storm, you just want to make sure that you're, I don't know if it was our Pookie in the corner, the Pookie just in front of you. Since the 20-meter shape is so large, you're actually going a little past the midline. So you're going to exit on this line, our 5-meter C. Yeah, okay, let's go one more time for you guys. You guys did a great first run. I'll have you guys canter the shape, and then we'll check Parge and Reality's math on the challenge portion. All right, A group, you guys are going to canter this time. Let's canter, and we're doing our 20-meter full moons to the right. Great. Go. Good. Yes. Good. And then you're exiting the line where my character is standing towards B Bravo. Yes. Very good. Nicely done. Good. All right. All right. Now we will examine Parge in reality. Dun dun dun. Pony. Here we go. All right. Parge reality. If you guys are ready, you can go into global. Alrighty. Okay, you guys can come out when you're ready. Right, beautiful. All right, and let's have you guys trot the first time. So let's trot, set, free, go. Nice. Yep. All right, pretty good. Very close. All right, you guys can reset. So Parge, you turned onto this 10-meter line just a little early. I saw you kind of ending the shape where I'm currently. Just want to make sure that your curve ends on the wall again. so that it's even on both sides, if that makes sense for you. And in reality, you also ended your curve a little early too, or you kind of, so since you're starting on the quarter line, your shape should end on the quarter line as well here. So once you hit this dot, this is when you'll go straight towards B Bravo, if that makes sense. Alrighty, I'll have you guys go again at the canta so you can have a little speed. So let's canter, set, great, go. Yes. And once you guys hit your final dot, that's basically when you can go straight. You just went just a little bit wide reality. My character is actually your final point here. For my character is, because if my horse, well, my horse is not the center for you, it's one up. But you would exit, you start on the quarter line here. I count 4 dots in. This is your origin. 4 dots more, you exit where my character is. You just went a little bit further. You were here, basically. But this is what's kind of weird. When you're moving the moons away from the center line, the midline, your brain is like, huh? Which is totally normal. Okay. Alrighty, beautiful. Okay, we have 10 minutes. I want to do one like interesting shape with you guys before the end of the hour. All right, if we're ready to keep going, let's come stand on X. If you have a question, let me know. All right. We're going to look at half eighths now. So if if a moon, whether it's a 5, a 10, 5-meter quarter moon, 10-meter half moon, or a 20-meter full moon, you can think of it as a curl over. Your half eighths, so your 5-meter quarter half eight, or your 10-meter half eight, you're basically taking 2 moons and you're basically making a giant dodge, is a way to think of it. So I've got 2 here in the diagram I just sent. So the red one is your 5-meter quarter half eight. So this is just 2 5-meter quarter moons put together in a dodge formation. That red C is the overall center of the shape. And then your B and A is the origin or the center of your 2 quarter moons. And then the same thing here with our the yellow one. That's a 10-meter half eight. So it's just 2 10-meter half moons in that dodge formation. Again, that yellow C is the overall center of the shape. And then the Z and the Y are the centers of the 2 half moons. All right. Okay. So I want you guys to have the chance to try both. So where did I put the origin of this? On the 10. Okay. I'm going to put my pony here. All right, let's have you guys line up. Yeah, let's have Parge start us off here. Just gonna line up behind Parge. We're gonna ride through the shape together. So this is just an example of how we can take our moons and combine the shapes to make something different. You could even do like a 5-meter quarter moon into a 10-meter half moon, or a 5-meter quarter moon into a 20-meter full moon into a 10-meter half moon. You can just do whatever you want, basically. Rearrange the shapes like Lego bricks, however you want. But for the sake of this is in SSD dictionary, it's kind of standard. We're going to do this one. So if we think about, we can think our triangle method. I think this is the most helpful here. Is I'm starting the shape at this point on the quarter line. Oh, I have you guys backwards. That's okay. We're going to go up, then down. Then from here, I want to go in the opposite direction. So I'm going to go up and then down. And then because a dodge is basically a curl over fate, whenever you have a fate shape, you will always exit in the same direction that you started from. Since we're starting this shape facing A, we will exit facing A. And also since the shape is centered over the center line and the 2 5-meter quarter moons are the same size, we're starting on the quarter line on E echo side. We're going to exit on the quarter line on B Bravo side because it's symmetrical in terms of the size and where it's placed, if that makes sense. Alrighty. Okay. We can do NTT again. We'll follow Parse through. If the filter will let me say nose to tail down. Oh, it is. Okay, how exciting. Okay, beautiful. All right. Let me I'll use my little leggies and I'll run. Okay, so you guys are gonna go through me, then through my pony, and then I'll run and be the next cone. All right, let's trot and go through our 5-meter quarter half 8. Great. Go. Making those nice beautiful curves, and then I'll be the top of the next one. And then we'll exit heading towards A Alfonso. A Alpha, I think is the proper NATO phonetic thing or whatever. Yeah, beautiful. Very nice. We like it, Picasso. Okay, so that's a little 5-meter quarter half 8. All right, let's do the other one now. Let's do the 10-meter half 8. Should I put the origin here? Yes, and then I'll have you guys start like the diagram this time. Okay, so Parj, if you want to line us up. Yes, this is correct. So before V, sorry. You can start us at V, so we have some runway. Some runway. So we'll start facing C actually, so it matches the diagram. Makes more sense this way. Parj, if you want to come here. Yeah, Parj will start here, and then you guys, we're gonna face C to start, so that we match the diagram this time. I had you guys go in the opposite direction last time. Yes. So we'll all be behind Parj facing C. The other way. Yeah, beautiful. Okay, similar principle to what we did with our 5-meter quarter half 8 earlier. If we're starting here just before V, or this is the 10-meter line on the A side of the arena. Yeah, no, you're good. What's kind of nice is the first apex of our first 10-meter half moon is on our midline at our 10-meter dot, which is kind of nice. We know where this is. Nice reference point. And then the exact center of our shape is over our 10-meter line on the center line, which is also nice. Nice reference point. Now we're going to keep going. We're going to go up 2 and to the left. So this point is our 20-meter on our quarter line here. And then we're going to exit on the far wall in line with where we start from. Because again, it's mirrored over the center line. Capiche capache. the mirrored shape does make it a little bit easier. Your brain likes symmetrical things. Okay, we'll go NTT again behind Parj, and I will be cones for you guys. So let's trot in that NTT. Great. Go. Making those nice, beautiful curves. All right, and you'll go through my pony, and I'll be the next cone. Dun, dun, dun. Here we go. And then go exit across from where we started from. Nice. All right, beautiful. And then like a dodge, you would just exit and continue straight. That's essentially what we're doing here. All right, very nice. Okay, we are almost at the end of the hour, so I don't want to keep you guys too much longer. If y'all need to go, that is a-okay. If some of you can stay just a little bit longer, there's one more thing I would like to try with you guys if you have the time. If you do not, that is a-okay. Right. If you want to keep moving and grooving, you can come stand with me on X. If you need to head out, that is totally fine. I know it's late for some of y'all, or maybe you have other practices or events you need to go to. Okay, beautiful. Okay, yeah, thank you for coming, Reality. Have a good one. All right, so the next diagram I sent in here is, we're looking at full eights. So our half eights is basically taking our moon shapes and creating a dodge shape with them. Your full eights is you're taking full size circles and making shapes with them in the shape of an 8. Duh. Right? Makes sense. So it's in the name. So here in the diagram that I just sent, just to make it interesting, I've put a 5-meter full 8, so 2 5-meter circles, and then a 15-meter full 8. So 2 15-meter circles. And they both share a center, which is X, but because the two shapes are different sizes, we're going to have an interesting effect going on here. So what we'll do is let's I'm going to split you guys up into two. Okay, so if you would like to ride the bigger green shape, come here at E Echo. If you would like to ride the smaller red shape, you can come to B Bravo. All right, beautiful. Okay, so I'm going to start with my red Pookies. You guys can come over here. All right. And then we have Sheila here as being our X. I don't know if on purpose or just inadvertently. Okay, so what we're aiming for here is we want to ride two 5-meter circles that are interlocked together like an 8 or an infinity symbol. You can also think of it as you're just riding a big fate shape is another way to think of it. So if you're starting from where Sheila is currently, on the diagram I have little red arrows labeled. So you're starting at 1, then you're going through to 2, and then you go all the way around. Then you're going again through X3, then you're going to go right, position 4, you'll go around 5, and then you'll keep going. You'll restart at 1. So it's kind of like infinity. And then what's going to be fun with this is because the Pookies riding the bigger shape are also riding that infinity symbol, it's going to look like kind of gears, like an interlocking kind of gear shape. Should be kind of interesting to see. All right, so red Pookies, I'm going to make myself cones for you guys. So if Sheila is the center, you guys are first going to start making a 5-meter circle around my pony. So you're going to enter straight. You're going to go through where Sheila is on X, and you're going to take the dots 1 away on all sides of my pony. And then as you go back through, you go through Sheila again, and now you're going to the right. Same thing. And then you'll just keep going. It never ends. All right. So if you guys want to reset here, and then I'll be cones for you guys on either side. And then we'll throw in the green Pookies next. All right. So I'll just have you guys do NTT just to make it easier. Bruh, and it will not let me say NTT. Nose to tail. To tail gap? Oh, no to tail. Okay. All right, so you guys are starting left, going around my horse. As you get back around, you go through X, you go around my character, and then you just infinity, it's a loop. You just keep going around, going around. Let's trot, just so that the shape is more clear. So you guys are going to trot and do that 5-meter full 8, starting to the left. Great. Go. And just really focusing on riding through the center of the dots, making a nice curved shape in between each. And then as you pass through X again where Sheila is, your saddle is momentarily like straight over X, and then you continue to the right, kind of like when you're riding a regular curl fate. Good. Yes. And then you guys would just restart the shape again, go through Sheila one more time. Yeah, beautiful. Okay, very nice. Gucci guacamole. All right, you guys can go back to where you to B, or if you want to try writing the red shape with the other group, you guys can join them. Otherwise, I will have y'all do the green shape. Okay, if you guys just want to come over here so I can work with the green Pookies, and then we'll put the two of you together. All right, green Pookies. You guys want to come line up here. All right, you guys are doing something similar, except your shape is bigger, and it is a 15-meter, which we have not looked at yet. We didn't do 15-meter moons, although you can if you want. So our origin for our first circle going to the left is Y here, in line with R and S. And then the first dot is going to be here on your 8th line, just one before R. Then you're going to go out to your 30-meter line, just before the wall. And then again, back to the S and R line on the 8th line, And then you return to Sheila, and then you'll do the same thing to the right. And the origin of that is Z. And then what's nice here is that you have for reference like where the top and the bottom of your big 50-meter circles are is the wall letters. So R and S and P and B. Alrighty. And then same thing as the little red circle Poogies did earlier, is just a continuous infinity shape. Okay, if you guys are ready to try, you can go into global. If you need more help or you have questions, let me know. All right, you guys can come out. So I'll have you canter just because the shapes are bigger. And let's do nose to tail gaps as well for you guys. So you're really focusing on riding through the center of your dots, nice curved shapes in between. And then again, when you're over Sheila on X, just momentarily, your saddle will be straight. Oh, we lost Sheila. When you're over X, your saddle will be straight momentarily, and then you'll start the shape to the right. Alrighty. So let's canter and do our 15-meter curl fate starting left, or our 15-meter full 8 starting left. Parade. Go. You're going to go all the way up to the dot just in front of R. And then the one on the center line just before the wall. And then the dot just in front of S. Or sorry, not in front of S, one away from S. And then back to X. And then now you'll go to the right. So you'll do the dot just in front of, or before P, the line before P. And then on the center line before the line before the A wall line. Yeah. And then back down to the 8th line before V, and then through X again. Yes, beautiful. Very good. And then you guys just keep going around. Going around, going around. Yay! Okay, very nice. All right, let's put them together. And then I will let you guys go all night. Okay, let's start with our red Pookies. Our red Pookies. Or if red Pookies, if you want to line up here. All right, and then we can have our green Pookies just line up behind them. So I'll start our red Pookies first, get them started, and then green Pookies, you guys will come in. All right, Shy, what you can do is maybe I'll have you come in behind Arvella here. So you're just going to follow Arvella through the shape. NTT. Okay, so let's have our red Pookies get started. I'm going to stay cones for the green just because it is bigger. It's a trickier shape to manage. But red Pookies, I have faith in you that you know where you're supposed to be. Alrighty. So we're going to start with our red Pookies first. We're going to have our red group is going to trot. And we'll have our green group canter just because that's a nice contrast of two different gaits. All right, so red group is going to trot in NTT. So red group trot set, parade, go. And green group get ready. And green group canter set, parade, go. If you guys have death over X, that's fine. I'm not too concerned about that. I'm just more concerned about our shapes. Ooh, very nice. Yes, good. And then red group, you guys can go around more than once since your shape is smaller. Yeah, good fixes. Good. Yes. Good fixes. Ooh, that's a nice effect. Yeah, now you guys. Yeah, good job. Good fix. Yeah. Green group is going right now around my character. Yeah, good. Red group can just keep going since you guys have the smaller shape. You guys get to travel more in terms of how many times you go around. Kind of like a roller coaster a bit. We're having a bit of a good. Yes. Yes. Very nice. Nicely done. Beautiful. All right. And we can halt, set, free, go. Nice. Nicely done. Hey, that was fun. And then what you could do is say if you wanted to do this in a routine and you wanted to avoid death or your riders merging, you could either have bigger gaps. So right now we're in NTT, but I know with the new screen ability update, it's weird. But you could try to have a equivalent to like the old one horse gap so that there's gap windows for your riders to pass through and they could saddle cross, for example. So you could say have your smaller shape, your red group, try to saddle cross with your green group or vice versa. So there's no death. That was fun. Okay, good job. Golf claps all around. Golf claps all around. Okay, you guys are free to skadoodle, poodle, toodles for the night. Thank you for staying a bit late to try this more challenging kind of situation here. Um, if you guys want, I'm going to place on some soundboards. If you would like to tornado around X while I play some soundboards to kind of like let all the energy, the beans out. I'm going to give you guys 5 seconds to turn down your soundboard if it's currently very loud, because I know sometimes getting your ears blasted by soundboards is not fun. I'll give you 5 seconds here. All right. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, here we go. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Been there, done that.
But every day above ground is a great day.
Great day.
Remember that.
It's about drive, it's about power. We stay hungry, we devour. Sexy lady. Yippee! All right, you guys did an amazing job. I'm going to upload the recording, and I'm pretty sure it worked because I can see it's still recording. I'm gonna